Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. We were off last week. We're not this week. We're back this week. I'm Chad. He's Marcus, the glorious one himself. We are talking wrestling. Today's show is called Stylin and Profiling. Nope, that's not even right. I already hate myself. Stylin and Retirin. The Leo Rush story. That's the name of today's show. Marcus, welcome back. How are you?
Good, man. Good to be back. Hell of a title for the show. A lot to talk about.
We got 7 almighty topics, none of which include Bobby Lashley. So let's start with the first one. It's Leo. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. He's now a retired dude, though. Apparently, in his AEW debut, he hurt his shoulder. I think he said he dislocated it. Nothing to write home about. It is a moderate injury at best. However, Leo has decided that he's done. He has had more than his fair share and wants to walk away from the business and spend more time with his wife and children, un chilite. I don't think that's how you say child in Spanish, but hey, there you go. We're just going to roll with it. So basically it comes down to he's kind of fed up with doing the thing, so he's going to walk away from it. But Marcus, I'm going to say right now, I think he's about as retired as Kylie Ray is.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think it was. I feels like we kind of retreading a little bit of old water, if you will, because it felt like he was going to do this a while back or contemplating doing it, and he kind of got reinvigorated, came back, did some stuff, and it was kind of he was moving. Came up. I think he revamped the moth gimmick. I think. In a way, and then it was doing some stuff obviously in MLW and moving about, and then apparently headed to New Japan, and then he came to the AEW show, and I don't know how I don't know if it was more serious than he's making it out to be, or this was like just the final nail in a line of injuries that he's been racking up and not necessarily talking about, but I don't know, man. Obviously the reason is good about the family dynamic. Obviously you always got to look out for your health, but I don't know. In this business, I mean, how many times is the legendary Lynn retired, and Kyler Ray, like you said, Kyler Ray was supposed to be gone, and we've seen this kind of from several others. It's kind of for a lot of people, it's kind of like a drug. It's kind of hard to break from. So we'll see.
I'm still not completely sure Terry Funk isn't completely retired. And he's like 80, so I don't know. Sting's back, Edge is back,
Yeah.
everyone comes back.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's gonna fucking permanently retire. It's just no, no. It's not in the cards. He might be feeling that way now, but in a year, maybe even just a few weeks, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna come back. Didn't ACH retire for like a moment in time? He's like, I'm
I
retired,
think,
and then like 2 hours later, he goes, nah.
yeah, I think his retirement was like I need to step away from this for a while, and I think because obviously I think he was saying a lot of things through his feelings at the time because he was
Mm-hmm.
just fed up, and then I think he took a mental health break, and then he came back. But
Rich Swann retired, then he came back with Impact. Michael Elgin retired, and then he came back. Alberto El Patron, I don't know if he ever officially retired, but then he came back. Everyone always seems to come back, no matter the reason why they left.
Richards too, right?
Rich Swann is that what we're
No,
talking about?
Davey.
Oh yeah, Davey
Richards.
Richards retired. Although he didn't technically retire, more or less he took a hiatus because like he never formally announced he was retiring. He just said he was going to work on his medical degree, and then he came back. And I mean, technically, I guess you could lump him in as well. Yeah. Let's see who else recently retired. Kylie Ray retired twice. Let's see. We want Joey Ryan to retire. Actually, we want him to drown in a vat of acid, but beggars can't be choosers.
You know what I'm saying? Did Petey Williams ever step away, or he just kind of like took a break for a bit?
I don't think he ever technically stepped away because I do believe that he was working as a producer for Impact, and I don't consider that kind of retiring.
Gotcha. was because I think this person stepped away from injuries. Was Amazing Red?
Yeah, he retired a few times. He retired twice due to injuries.
Yeah,
At least twice. He may have retired three times. I remember he retired in the early aughts before like TNA kind of blew up.
yeah.
But then he left the business because his knees were just tweaked, and then he came back in 2008, 2009. Then he retired again in like 2016, 2017, 2018. So yeah, no, no one actually retires. It's the Hotel California. You can check out, but you'll never leave. Welcome to the Hotel Wrestling. All right. Speaking of never being allowed to leave, Samoa Joe is back in WWE. And apparently his entire new gig is he's going to beat people up in the backstage like Stone Cold did in 2003. Oh, yay. So, this is like watching a girl go back to her abusive ex boyfriend. After a certain point, you can only stop them so many times before you yourself get to the point where you're just like, fuck it. I know what's going to happen to you. You know what's going to happen to you. I'm done caring. I'm not going to be the only one in this relationship that cares about your well being. Either you get off the pot or I'm going to leave. Joe's deciding to not get off the pot. He's gonna try to keep shitting. So here we are. I don't know, Marcus. Like I don't know why people do this to themselves. He better be getting paid handsomely because I can't imagine that he wasn't gonna get a nice offer from Impact.
You said he wasn't.
I think he was. I think he was gonna get a nice
Oh,
offer.
yeah. I mean, same here. Like, it's interesting. I think a lot of those guys, specifically in the climate that it is now, because Raw is just, being in the doldrums will be an improvement for what
Mm-hmm.
Raw is. And SmackDown is mildly tolerable, but NXT for a lot of people is where they can at least have some consistency. And I think for Joe, he thrived when he was down there. He was basically what Karrion Cross is now. And some of the most entertaining stuff he was doing was aggravating William Regal, screaming his last name like a madman all over the place. And to say he was underserved on the main roster, being a freaking commentator when it all came down to it, once they, I guess, didn't want to use him as an in ring anymore, was almost laughable. And now he's basically a heavy, which in a lot of ways can evolve at a certain space, but he's certainly in a better position than he was on the main roster. But that's not really saying much when you consider the fact of potentially how many more bumps he has on his card. How you know far he might be out from taking a break from in ring, or leaving it all together and just wanting to be in a, I don't know, managerial role. But it's like Joe's just one of those guys, man. When he's in his bag, it's great wrestling. And
Mm-hmm.
all Impact fans, we have a bias, but it's warranted. I mean, the company is as hot as it's been in a very long time. Obviously, these relationships they build and helping with that with New Japan and AEW, but the competition is ripe. Like they got like what, four titles, and all of them have competition.
Mm-hmm.
Tag, the women's tag, the women's, the X division, and obviously, the damn world titles caught in an entanglement. Feels like, but yeah, it'd just be a really great place for him. But that's the decision he made. Maybe I heard Triple H and them wanted him back, and maybe they kept him with a main roster price tag for NXT stay.
That'd be the only way I could see him going back. I think part of the reason why he went back is because he's thinking long term, life after wrestling, and I think he knows that he might have a job with the company after he's done with the in ring stuff. Now he has concussion issues. That's part of the reason why he hasn't been wrestling over the last year and a half, 2 years. There's a belief that he could return if he wanted to, or if the company would want him to, but who knows, what that is and where they're going with that at the moment. The other thing that's worth pointing out is that Joe has basically spent the last 6 years doing nothing. He's done nothing in NXT. He did nothing on the main roster. And it sucks because he's kind of just been a forgetful wrestler. And he's not the only one. Like the the booking in this company has been bad for years. It's not a new phenomenon. It's been 14 years, and we're still sitting through it, slogging through it. I've stopped. I'm no longer giving them my time of day. But let's be honest, the ratings are what the ratings are for a reason. So it's not good. And Joe decided to go back to it. So I don't really care if he ruins the rest of his career going back to this company. That's his prerogative. But whatever. Speaking of whatever, though, we kind of have an update of which on the moose of it all. There's the moose that we need to talk about in the room. The moose in the room. He did not win at Against All Odds, but he may have won because he walked away with a fat new contract from Impact, allegedly. Apparently, he signed a new multi-year deal with the company. I doubt that was ever, in doubt, so to speak. But that's the new rumors that he signed a new deal. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes forward with this. The ending of the match, again, I haven't seen it. I just kind of know what happens. I know he got screwed. Has set up the idea that Moose would get another shot at the belt eventually, but we also know that Sami Callihan's getting a shot at the belt, so who knows what happens next? I don't. We'll find out. Marcus, Moose back in Impact. Is it finally time for the Moose era?
It got to be, man. It's now or never. You come on. How many times have we seen these people wait too late to pull the trigger, not pull the trigger at all, or pull it too fast? Great example. We talk about never pulling the trigger. It felt like they did that with I'm not gonna say Crimson because that streak and then and the way it got that was a huge letdown for you. So I'm gonna just skip over that. But
I so thought it was going to be Goldberg.
yeah. It almost felt like they had skipped it. Almost pulled it too late with Styles, but they got him in there. Um, and too fast would be we talk about Chris Sabin. We love Chris Sabin, but that that did not go well.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think they pulled it too fast with Saban in terms of putting it on him, but they pulled it too fast taking it off of him. I He was champion for like what, a week, maybe two. It is not good. It is not good.
yeah,
But you're right. Like James Storm, Saban. A lot of people think Samoa Joe. Well, they kind of fumbled the ball with Joe. I
yeah,
don't agree. I think Joe had already started to decline severely due to the style he wrestled by that point, but still. But
yeah.
yeah, there's been a lot of guys. Monty Brown, they never pulled the trigger on. So like, I do get what you're saying. It's the
You know,
opportunity now for them to
yeah.
rectify that.
They got a lot of good bubbling stuff. Like I said, this is the best the product's consistently been in years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's stacked on all sides and all divisions. Like there's no lull anywhere. And freaking Alexander and that other guy put on a hell of a 60-minute Iron Man match, and which is really great to see, considering the fact that I guess it might have been looked upon from certain people that uh, of the North, Alexander was, I guess, I don't know, the Christian of it, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
which never made sense to me. He was always to me the key factor, but it's just cool to see him. He's like, look, man, till y'all get that title back, I'm the guy. Okay, like you send anybody that won't action, you send them after me. Even you said this on the last show. Even Violent by Design has been great,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like they've improved with EY injured even more so because he has to be the target force, and it was hilarious because the great Steve walked up and was like, "It seemed that your design is flawed." Like even the promos is clicking, but when it comes to Moose, man, I think it's now or never. I'm hoping that isn't a rumor, that it is 100% true, and I think we could all agree with all the crap that's going on screen. I think Don Callis and Khan and um
The more.
Demore, thanks. I was about why the freak was I about to call him Schiavone.
Skivon.
Demore they've been doing a really great job on screen doing that kind of juggling act. But I think me, you, and the staunch Impact fans can agree that title has to come home in July.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It
Slammiversary, yeah.
I was about to echo the same thing you were about to say. It has to be at Slammiversary. Omega's been a fine champion and he's helped bring ratings, but at the end of the day, you need to use him to help build up your own crop of guys.
Yeah,
So,
'cause it's a thing. And if you go pull the trigger, pull it on Moose. Callahan is that guy who's always that wild card who can literally pop around the roster with just random grudges and then always come back to it. But I do love the consistency and like, look, like that title, that strap needs to come home. So, and that's across the board. But yeah, it looked like we got the same logical thinking. Like they might find a way to inject Moose in there somehow because he did get royally screwed. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that it was in Daly's place that they had the match until I went back and watched it. But yeah, he got royally. So we'll see what happens, but it definitely has to be at Slammiversary, and I would prefer for it to be Moose, and not just because he's the black guy, uh,
racist.
but because
What?
it's
What?
it's all. Who said that? Who the frick said that? Like,
I'm going to throw this idea out at you. We're already talking about the idea of possibly getting Sammy, Moose, and Kenny into the match. Why not just do a King of the Mountain match?
hmm.
I think it could be interesting. Maybe throw in Joe Doring and Eddie Edwards. Talk about violent by design. And you're right, dude.
No man.
Eric Young has been such a good mouthpiece for that group.
Yeah.
Now, if only we
Yeah.
can
I
get
mean,
Cody Deaner to some actual wins.
yeah, which is funny, which I think lends to the fact that I'm guessing they're using the Freebird thing because when it's hilarious by the way when freaking Crazy Steve is a mouthpiece and Tarusa just standing there growling the whole time, but everybody's looking at Steve. Hilarious. But the fact that Steve was like, "Look, man, Doran's got something to do." Shout out to Kojima. That was a cool match. Put the title on him. Give your boy some responsibility and let him defend the straps. So I think that's been real good on them with that whole concept. But we'll see how long they hold it. But it is cool because I feel like that stable, like you said, weirdly picked up momentum after Young got injured, which is weird because he was the centerpiece. But the fact that they brought Rhino in and getting him some shine when he was kind of stuck in the doldrums with Slater out, I think it's been good.
Yeah, and Slater's due back any time now, so we'll see if they incorporate him back into the company. I have to assume they would. We'll see. Next up, we didn't talk about this before. I want to get your thoughts. I watched AEW on Friday because I had just gotten into town. I was in Iowa for our own colleague Zach's wedding. I got to my Super 8, which at first I was like, oh, Marcus, this is the greatest Super 8 I've ever been to. Look, it looks like a lodge. This is so cool. And then I went into the back door because that's where my room was. It was closer to the back door and on the second floor. And I was like, never mind. I'm going to get murdered here by the cockroaches. Luckily, my room didn't have any bed bugs, although I'm not sleeping underneath those sheets. I play stupid games, win stupid prizes. No, thank you. I will sleep right here, away from the blankets. Thank you very much. But so I was watching AEW Friday night, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. And Andrade's on AEW now, and big old deal. Everyone's all excited. They're building up to Andrade versus Omega because Omega's the centerpiece of wrestling apparently down in Triple A. I think it's Triple A. Maybe it's CMLL. I don't remember which. So, Marcus, do you think Andrade is going to finally find his wings in AEW? Because Lord knows they already have enough guys that are stockpiled up.
I hope so. He's a really talented guy. Got a lot of swagger, um, and whatnot. And I do like the fact that he's going by Andrade El Idolo. I've always liked that word for whatever reason. El Idolo just has a certain. But
Is that
yeah, they got him paying.
elite or idol?
I want to say it's Idol. Um, but yeah, they got him paired with Vicky. Um, she's still working with Nyla Rose, and she's getting her a little stable. We all know she, if nothing else, the woman works as a great mouthpiece. Obviously, he can speak English, which helps. But yeah, like you said, since he's kind of ran through the gamut of competition right now in AEW, building him up seems like the right thing. If they're not going to position somebody like a Christian, um, obviously I think Owens Cassidy is a ways off. I don't know what's going on with the drunk cowboy thing uh, with Adam. Uh, what's his face?
Cool.
But
Nope. Page.
you know why I didn't finish it? Because I said Cole too. I said what's his face? Yeah,
Uh,
like all the same guy. They look alike. They look like they drink alike. But yeah. So Adam Page. But yeah, the Andrade could be the guy. I don't know. It feels like they're trying to give him an Okada-esque run. Obviously, Dean. I mean, Moxley held it for a while, but they obviously, Omega's kind of the guy. So, uh, but Andrade could be the guy. We'll see. But I do think obviously he got far more of an opportunity to thrive than anything he was doing in WWE. I mean, the man had great matches with Rey Mysterio, but when you do it 50 times, it's like okay.
yeah, you kind of burned us out. And it would be one thing if it was over the course of like a decade, like Daniels and Styles. Like if those two hooked up again, I'd be like, yes. Thank you. Even though Daniel would probably be rather talking about Marvel Comics and Styles would probably be talking about the gay community. Gay community. But I'd still like to see it. But with Andrade and Ray, they were really just like 20 times in 18 weeks? Sure, let's do it. Fans like this, right? The repetitive nonsense. Yeah. Do you guys liked it the first time? You'll love it the 26th time. Why isn't anyone watching WWE anymore? I don't know. It's such a mystery. It's like it's a quagmire, it's a conundrum. Things that I don't understand. Oh, shut the fuck up. We all know why that company sucks. Speaking of things that might suck, the NWA. They have announced that they're going to be doing a all-women show. And apparently, Mickey James will serve as a producer and also, I think she might wrestle. So, I have concerns about this. The all women's pay per view event will happen on August 28th. Mickey James will participate in the announcement to signal the move to the NWA. She'll be the executive producer for the event, and she made it clear that she'll bring in new talent for the show. Of course she will. You have 4 female wrestlers. You kind of have to. Then the NWA will hold the 73rd anniversary pay-per-view on August 29th. That's the next day, so Saturday, Sunday, I think. Both events will be held in St. Louis, Missouri. Mickey says this is something I've wanted to do for a very, 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 very long time. Oh. Yeah, because that's never happened before. Wasn't she part of that Evolution event?
Yeah, I think she was,
Which
which
was
which may be even more fuel for her to want to do this because I think she may have said something to the fact that you know she wanted all women to kind of consider this show, even if they was contractually obligated to other companies. Which is like, first off, that's adorable, but you already know what it is with your former employer. That's a cute sentiment, but if they won't, if they got to leak information to people to put on their websites as dirt sheets, and they won't come out and say it on their own Twitters, you think they go breach contract to come show up for NWA? Come on, like I get it, but you don't get it.
yeah. I don't know what their financial deal is with Fight TV, but I can tell you just in terms of impact on the socials, them moving to Fight was a huge negative. No one's talking about them anymore. I have to imagine that if people are ordering the pay-per-views, it's in the hundreds. I just don't see them making a lot of money, and I feel like this is kind of a desperation move by the NWA. I don't know if it's going to be any good. Their product has kind of taken a bit of a hit. I've seen some of the shows since they moved to Fight. I wouldn't say that they're anything to write home about. They do have some talent worthwhile, and that was part of the issue with the 2021 reboot or revival or whatever the fuck we're calling it. They lost a lot of guys. Just they lost Kingston. They lost Ricky Starks. They lost Ziggy Dice. And they're replacing them with fucking Chris Adonis. Oh, good. Chris Masters is back in wrestling because that's what we've been missing. Tyrus. Oh, so glad they
Wait a
brought
minute.
him back. What's that?
They added Tyrus?
Yup. He's feuding with the Pope.
Oh, hell no. Okay. All right. Well,
We even talked about it last show. We were talking about the NWA pay-per-view.
yeah. No. Well, it's like I'm just going to be reading up on you guys, not watching anything. No. No.
Is it because he's a light-skinned black man, Marcus? That's racist.
I think it might be racist calling him that. But you talk about the guy that, was like, I really should be world champion. In what universe?
But he's big, and apparently he's mad because Mark Henry stole his gimmick. You know, the Olympian, the gold medalist. Actually, no, Mark Henry's a bronze medalist. The bronze medalist in the 96 games? I think it was the 96 games. It could have been the 92 games. Boy, he's an Olympian nonetheless. I'm sorry, Tyrus, but you're going to have to take a back seat to Mark Henry whenever that conversation comes up.
Yeah, just let me see. Let me see you had that argument in his face. How about that?
Yeah, I dare you. I
Yeah,
dare you.
That'll get me to watch you. Say it to his face.
He'll put you in the Hall of Fame you claim he stole. So yeah, I have no excitement about this. I told you Mickey James was going. Oh, I was like, Mickey James is going to the NWA. Watch. I mean, Nick got all his other friends and family members fucking jobs. So I'm not surprised she popped up there, and like it's adorable. She wants to do the all women show. Evolution was a failure, and they had Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, the Bellas, which I guess is a thing. I guess they're Hall of Famers. They had the women's NXT Championship match. They had Mae Young Classic Finals. They had the 20-woman tournament. They had the return of Trish Stratus and Lita to open the show. So if that show flopped, and it did. It did.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't do another one.
It was a cosmetic PR stunt.
Yep. If that show flopped, then why would I expect the NWA show not to flop? And considering the NWA is already flopping pretty hard. So
Yeah. And I've always liked Mick, and I want her to succeed. And she obviously, I would have imagined she was well compensated, but she was well compensated for wasting a lot of her time that she can't get back.
Nope.
With the WWE, and I think she's well aware of it. Um, though you can't argue with it when you got a family and whatnot, and a life to uphold and support. But she could have been putting on a lot of great stuff. And the last match she had that was worth remembering was with Asuka, and that sucked. And even that had an F finish to it. So like I said, it'll be cool to see her succeed. I don't know if is even Melina still affiliated with the company.
Yeah, Melina just wrestled on the last pay-per-view.
Okay, so that'll be cool to see them do like a classic run in. That could be something. But like I said, like I get it, and then you want to build up that momentum. I think we've seen maybe Deonna Purrazzo try something similar in the Ring of Honor. Kind of pump up their women's division. Obviously, that didn't go their way, but yeah, I wish her the best of luck. I don't see what's going to happen because, like you said, they absolutely hemorrhaged talent, and it felt like that, almost like that. When what you call it, got this Cornette, everything with Cornette came to a head, it felt like a landslide after that.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to point out is Billy Corgan has been pretty emphatic that he doesn't want to work with Impact, that he doesn't like Impact. I don't see AEW sending people there. And if they do, it won't be anyone that they have any concerns about losing in terms of like matches. I think Thunder Rosa will probably pop up. I think maybe Serena Deeb will probably pop up. But in terms of big names, it's going to be Impact that they have to look to if they want to bring other non-contracted athletes in. And if you're Scott D'Amore and Billy Corgan's basically been like, nah, I don't want to do business with Impact, and Nick Aldis is like, yeah, fuck Impact. If you're Scott D'Amore and they're like, can you please send your women over? I'd be like, no. Go suck a goat. Not going to happen. So this is kind of where it comes down to. This is why you don't talk shit about other promotions, because this show's going to be an absolute train wreck.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. Again, that's that. They're the minor league mentality. I'm like, that's cute, but you like by sheer numbers, you look like the minor league, and that's not. And I went, and we was hyping them up big when everything was, kind of going consistently on YouTube. Like we said, after that Cornette thing, it came off like a landslide, and the pandemic hit everybody. But literally, like felt like they roster scattered like some roaches, and with the lights on, and just you bringing up Thunder Rosa, it'll be really cool if she could come into Impact. I don't know what a contract situation is, but I think she could be some quite high competition for Barrasso at this point, who is almost fiending for that level of competition now.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope maybe they could work out something. Like I know she's working with AEW because they basically are the only thing that's kind of holding up on a big stage that NWA Women's title. So, um, but yeah, I don't say Corgan used to be kind of over Impact uh, for a while. I don't get the beef now. I don't know if he's still holding old blood. I mean, old bad blood. I know Nick may be even uh, but that's just stupid to me. I mean, there's now more than ever they need to be working with people, and so to have beef is just stupid to me.
Well, Corgan has famously held grudges against people. His own band members and him had like a 15-year feud that only was recently resolved. So, like, yeah, it's kind of one of them things, man. It's kind of one of them things. Let's see. Got some good news. Our boy Eddie boy, he wants people to know that he is Impact for life. Speaking to Lucha Libre Online's Michael Morales Torres for the first edition of the Lucha Libre Online magazine, Eddie is being quoted as saying, "We're happy here," in reference to him and his wife. "Why would you want to go anywhere else? We're making a great living here. They're taking care of us. We are having fun doing it. That is the most important thing to me. Enjoy what you're doing. I have always enjoyed my time on Impact. From TNA to Impact, I've always enjoyed it. I've always been happy here. I've always been happy to be part of Impact, and I take pride in being the longest tenured wrestler in currently on Impact. I've been there 7 years at this point. I take pride in that. I take pride in being the guy that will wave the Impact flag for as long as I can until my arm falls off. They've treated me great, and I do believe in everything that we do. I believe in what the front office is doing, but I also believe in all of my brothers and sisters in the locker room. I believe that they are the best in the world and in the business. We're going to go out there and we're going to put on a great show each and every time. I take pride not only in what I do, but what Impact does, because I feel that we can do so much more and we can continue to ride this momentum and just keep getting better. I want to be the guy at the forefront of it. I want to help, be one of the faces of Impact Wrestling because I know how good it is. I know how good it can be. I want to be the guy that does the interviews. I enjoy doing these interviews because I get to talk about Impact. I want to be the one wearing the Impact T-shirt. I want to be the one waving that Impact flag until I can't do it anymore. That is what I want to do. I want to retire as an Impact player, which is a nice little like. I don't know if he meant to do this, but the Impact players for Lance Storm just incredible, and I just find it funny that that's what he, that's how he ends it. He wants to retire as Lance Storm.
Man, somebody get that man an edible arrangement of fresh fruit, please.
And somebody get that man a shield,
Boom.
or in this
That's
case, a championship belt.
that's all. Yeah, no, specifically. That part. 'Cause that's all it is, man. And that's not him sucking impact balls. That's him being real. It's like I've been there for however long. I've been had injuries, is that and the third. They treated me well. He probably knows likely he wouldn't have been a world champion anywhere else. Um, and he's had some good run. I mean, dude, his damn career almost ended in the company. Obviously, nobody's was doing it on purpose. Like we have to freaking reiterate that. Although I do think it's hilarious that constantly keeps getting brought back up in storyline to lend credibility to the nuts job of that character. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, it's just really cool to hear. Because you know loyalty hasn't always gone both ways in that company over years. So that's just cool to hear, and I really hope he gets another world title run that obviously he deserves. Um, but yeah, man, it's really cool to hear stuff like that because a lot of people have worked for the company over years and still have found a way to slight it like the stepping stones. Like this was kind of the building foundations for you because a lot of people didn't have even a lot of credibility until they worked there. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
saw Christian as a champion until he was Christian Cage there first. So
And truthfully, I still don't see him as champion. I know, I know, I know. It's just how I see things. My bad. So apparently, Paul White is getting returned to the ring. I guess that's a thing. All right. And Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly will face off at the Great American Bash. All right. Whatever. Moving on. Next topic. Last topic. We have a new face of New Japan. It's the Shingo Takagi. I went through 16 different Japanese names before I remembered his. I was like Koji Igarashi. Wait, no, that's not right. That's the guy who invented Castlevania.
you about to
Shingo.
say the rest. You're like Shingo, Yuga Roshi. Like what? No, that's not it.
The Kitsur Shibata. Midoriya.
Hilarious. Deku.
Deku. Kachan. So the living embodiment of Kirishima. Let's be honest. Shingo Takagi, if he's anyone, he's Kirishima. He's the hardening boy. He's the chivalrous hero. Shingo Takagi won the vacant IWGP World Championship for defeating Kazuchika Okada at Dominion. He's now the new face of New Japan Wrestling. And Marcus, what I have to ask you is very simple. Do you buy Shingo Takagi as a main eventer in New Japan, considering New Japan has already put the belt on perennial mid-carder Evil? Two disastrous results.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% behind Takagi. He's my favorite Japanese wrestler. Even when I didn't know who he was when he initially came into the company, I just something about that guy just drew me to him. He's been nothing but phenomenal ever since. He literally has probably, if you ask me for my top 5 matches of the year so far, he has 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's funny looking at that that lineage of Lij, because now it's been Naito. Well, I guess Evil was supposed to be Lij when he won, and then he obviously went to Bullet Club. But and now we got Takagi. So it's real cool to see, and obviously still not a fan of the championship, but I can be a fan of the champion. So looking forward to seeing how long they let him reign with it, seeing what they do with it. And it looks like Ibushi's gonna be the first to step up. So if nothing else, we're gonna get a string of phenomenal championship matches. So
You know
and
what?
it's a step up from Ospreay, me too. Yeah.
That's true, but you know who's next, right? In the pecking order? The next person who needs to be the IWGP face of the company is none other than your favorite wrestler, Taichi. Ah.
Deuce chills. Ugh.
Well, I look at it this way. If Takagi is the new champion, then what the hell is why are they waiting on Hiroki Goto? Like just do Goto Takagi. Just clothesline the shit out of each other for 30 minutes.
Well, Chad, what new with this new champion comes. If Ibushi can't get it done, who's gonna be stepping up next with Ospreay. Guy like Ospreay out the way. Your boy, your favorite wrestler, none other than Jay Blanco.
We don't talk about him on the show. Speaking of guys we don't speak of on the show, but not for any negative reasons, but just because we don't talk about him. But we get to talk about him right now because he's now a member of the New Japan roster. And that's Fred Rosser, former Darren Young, officially signed to New Japan today, or yesterday, or sometime recently. Kind of one of those names that you don't really expect to land in New Japan. But then again, ever since like Juice Robinson popped up in there, anything is possible now. Thoughts on Fred Rosser joining the New Japan roster?
I dig it. I like it, man. He's been, consistently working since he left. He's always come off like a genuinely good person, which we know over the past couple of years is clearly been very much of
There's no
false.
guarantee.
Yeah, there's no guarantee. So he's always come off like a hard worker, good person. That's just wanted to, do his thing and be great. So um, it's cool that he's getting this opportunity. And obviously, he's gonna, get some great competition. And yeah, I root for the guy.
They need to update their roster page because they still have guys like Marty Skrull on it.
Oh, when's the last time you heard that name? Jesus.
About 13 seconds ago when I said it. All right, Marcus, any other pieces of news or wrestling tidbits you want to mention before we call it a week?
Let's see. No, that pretty much covered it. If anybody's looking to watch a wrestling show, pay per view or whatever have you, I would recommend Against All Odds. Um, In Your House was a thing, but it's really nothing you can't catch on a weekly edition of Impact, just long. I mean, not Impact, Jesus, NXT, just longer. But yeah, Against All Odds was a hell of a show, man. And you get an appearance by freaking Yuji Nagata.
Yeah,
Um,
not Eugene
like,
Nagata.
um,
Oh God, Kojima.
Kojima, there it is. I'm like, why am I just? It's the legends on top of legends on top of legends. But yeah, Kojima. So good stuff.
Kojima,
Ariat.
Lariat. It's me, CM Punk. I'm just fucking with you. This is one of the best fucking shoot interviews I've ever heard. Oh, it's so good.
That's great. And like you said, you have to sit through the tapings because Jad spoke about this in the earlier show. You have to sit through this being like tapings where Matthews is back on commentary. But if you can get past that, kind of tune him out, hone in on D'Lo, you can get through it.
You can get through it until Matt Stryker's back. I promise. All right. For Mark's Green, I'm Chad Porto. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. You can always find us at realnerdcorp.com, realnerdcorp.com. We're back on Saturday with me and Matt. We're talking about something on the podcast. Real Nerdcorp Podcast, Nerdcorp Podcast, one of those, right? Saturday night over at twitch.tv/Real Nerdcorp or Nerdcorp, one of the two. Find out. It's on the website. You can also find Marcus on Twitter at ParadoxKid. ParadoxKid.
That's me.
I said this on Friday. I'll say it again. Happy birthday, my friend. Welcome to the 30 Up Club.
Thank you, my good friend. And once again, congrats to the, Pew Pew, our very own Zach Duncan, man. Next level in life. Me and Chad will be joining you sometime in the next millennium or so.
Maybe. By the by, once you join the 30 Up Club, you don't get a patch or a jacket. You just start feeling your prostate get larger. So, welcome.
Is that what old dude felt like when he joined the Sun in the final episode?
Yes, that's exactly how he felt. You can find Marcus on his other podcast that talks about New Japan and other things, I'm sure. The True Penny Show over on Twitter at True Penny Show, TRUE. Yeah, I'm saying that right. TRUEPENNYSHOW. You can also find me on my I was going to say my internet, my Instagram and Twitter. The Twitter is Chad Nerdcorp. Yeah, that's right. CHADNERDCRP. See what happens when I take a week off? I just go to shit. On the Instagram is Chad's Photo Hut. I uploaded a bunch of new photos from the last week, so check those out. I think I did some good work. You can find us on Twitter at NERDCRP. The website's realnerdcorp.com. Be sure to follow us, like, subscribe. I don't give a shit if you do any of that. I don't care. Just do it or don't. It's up to you. It's there if you like it. It's completely up to you. So for Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. We're done. Marcus, take us out.
Good night, me.